Hi, everyone. So if you've been thinking or have ever thought about writing a book, publishing a book, then this is the masterclass for you. Because in the next couple of hours, I will take you through this whole ecosystem that the publishing world exists on: how to write, how to edit, how to publish, and then how to market your book in 2023 and beyond. It's a changing world. Things are moving really fast. It's a multi-billion dollar industry. And if you're an entrepreneur or you're someone with a story that is that is crying out to be said, and written and published, then this is probably the masterclass that will help you understand and then dip your toes in this world of writing and publishing. It's an amazing world. So welcome inside and let's get started. Okay, I'm going to share screens with you right now. So topic is how to write, edit, publish, and market your book in 2023 and beyond. So we're going to talk about the trends and the shift first. What is happening in the publishing industry and what's happening worldwide, really? Why is everyone interested in publishing a book, especially the business world, the entrepreneurial world, but also memoirs, political books, everything's going through the roof, children's books. So just to give you an overview, the US publishing industry generates about $26 billion in revenue each year. And this is only the US. So imagine what the world around is doing. The book and publishing industry is undergoing serious change. It really is. We do know that print and newspapers have long been, over the last couple of decades or so, circulation figures are decreasing. There are fewer subscriptions. Advertisements are going down. So a lot of the online portals, including New York Times and The Guardian and what have you, are asking for donations because the circulation is going down. And although printed books remain the most favorable option for consumers, audiobooks and ebooks are now gathering ground. They're now, really forging ahead. Audiobooks, according to research, are the fastest growing segment of the publishing industry and estimated to grow beyond $10 billion within the next 5 to 10 years. So if you've been thinking of writing a book, this is probably the best time. The good part is you don't even have to write it, and I'll show you how. Ebooks are outperforming all books right now, even audiobooks. Amazon controls 50% of the ebook market. And that's simply because ebooks are quick. They're easy to self-publish. You can do it on various platforms. They're easily accessible. People don't need to carry, kilos and kilos of baggage. Books are heavy, so just one Kindle can hold 1,000 books or more, many, many more, really. So yes, the ebook market is really doing well. Audiobooks are catching up fast. Now, a few more things, research that I've done and what's happening in the publishing world. This will give you an idea. If you're intending to write a book, this is the time. There's always a good time to do things, and this is a good time. So here's there are 200,000 audiobooks already on Audible. ByteDance is the company that owns TikTok, and they are planning to pump in 170 million into book reader Sanqui. Now, I thought TikTok honestly was for teenagers and people doing funny things on video. I thought I would never get on TikTok, but only after a few days on there, someone told me about Book Talk, which is a feature on TikTok, which is for authors. And so I ventured in, and within days, there's hundreds of followers. So the algorithm kind of kicks it off. And so why not? If you're an entrepreneur and looking for a following, TikTok is as good as any other social platform, probably better. Blinkist is another hugely popular company that is in the business of summarizing books into audio and text. So what they do is they create abridged versions of books. Now, in today's day and age, the attention span of people is really small. So nobody perhaps wants to read a 500-page book. They would rather have a 100-page summary or a couple of hours and they're done with the reading. So that's not me, but there's a huge population of people who are doing that. So Blinkist is obviously, caught on to that market demand. Interestingly, political books and memoirs are hitting multiple bestseller lists. So I'm just reading right now in the middle of reading Barack Obama's A Promised Land, a beautifully written book, which sold 3.3 million copies in the first month alone at its launch in the US. Now, admittedly, ex-president of the United States, obviously his books are going to sell. 3.3 million copies in the first month. It's amazing. It's just out there. So, do you want to be a part of this multi-billion-dollar industry right now? But the question is, how serious are you? The business of writing a book is not a very easy one. It takes time, it takes effort, and it takes dedication. You could hire a ghostwriter, and I've ghostwritten 5 books myself. And you could get someone to do it, someone like me or any other ghostwriter to do it for you. Is that something you're willing to do, or would you rather learn the craft? There's nothing wrong with ghostwriting, like lots of personalities do it. It costs a lot it's very expensive because there's a lot of time and effort involved in that. Or would you rather learn the craft from someone who knows? So it's up to you. There's no right or wrong. So then, who am I? Why should you choose to work with me? Do you even know me? So let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Shoma Mitra, and my background is media and journalism. So I was a journalist in the television industry and then in print for about 16, 17 odd years. This was back home in India. Then we moved to Perth, Western Australia, where I'm based. And long story short, I started my content writing business here, content creation and management, and then moved on to the love of my life, which is books. So I myself have written many books. I've been commissioned to write books by organizations, not-for-profits. I have published, like I said, ghostwritten 5 books. And right now, I've been teaching for the past 3 years. I've been teaching people, whether they're entrepreneurs, whether they're aspiring writers, just people who have beautiful personal stories, teaching them how to write and publish their book. And that has become a passion of mine. And I'll tell you a story which I repeat in a lot of places, so some of you may have heard it. And this was on a trip to Africa in 2012, and we had gone on a holiday there. And on one of the safaris, we went to a Maasai camp. Now, the Maasai are warriors. They're a warrior tribe. And they're beautiful people. They're like very tall, very lean, very good looking, and, very fit people. And we went into this Maasai village. The children and the women came, and we were just tourists. So they came and they were showing us their wares. They were dancing around. And generally, we were looking around, looking at the villages, how they lived. And in a corner, I saw sitting on a wooden tree stump, this man who was very regally dressed. And, obviously, he was the chieftain of the tribe. And he was just observing us. So I went up to him and I tried to talk to him. Now, he spoke in Swahili, I spoke in English. So we were using hand gestures to converse, till a young boy, about 14 or 15 years old, came, and then he started interpreting for us. So as we were talking or gesturing, the Maasai village headman, he asked me, "What do you do?" So I said, I write. I write for a living. And he said, in our village, we have a saying. I said, what is that? And he said, whenever an elder dies, a library burns to the ground. And I just thought that this is what I've been doing all my life. I've been collecting stories. And it's so true that our stories die with us when we go away. We lose all these stories. The stories that my grandparents used to tell me of the wars they'd been through, of the strives, of the struggles, of the happy times, the hard times. And as a child, I heard them, fascinated by them, but never ever thought to write them down. And they never wrote down anything. But that is the social fabric of our lives. And if we don't write these things down, then it's lost. It's lost forever. And when he said that whenever an elder dies, a library burns to the ground, it just really struck me that we lose so much of human history. Because human history is not made up of politicians and kings and royalties. Yes, they're a part of it. But the majority of history is made up by people like you and me, the common man, and how we live and how we, go past each day. And my job as a human interest features writer and editor was getting these stories. So that's when I decided that I know the publishing world backwards. I know what it's like to edit. I'm a professional editor, a writer. I've published books. I'm in touch with the publishing industry. So if I started helping people who wanted to write a book but didn't know how it all worked, then I would be, I'd be the happiest person on earth. And that's what I started doing. And till date, in the last, I don't know, three years or so since I've been doing it, because it took me a while to, set up the business and start off. We've done close to 200 books, which, book-wise, it's a big number because books take a long time when done properly, and written and thought out. So that's really who I am. And to me, the greatest gift that anyone can give me is to tell their story and allow me the honor and the privilege to help them publish it and bring it out into the world. So they say, I'm like, what do you call it? We birth books. It is a laborious process. So I'm not going to, tell you anything else that it's very easy or it's simple enough, but there are many moving parts. And I'm here to help you get all of those moving parts together and publish your book. So that's me, and let's carry on. So like I said, the writing and publishing world has many moving parts. And this masterclass is intended to help you understand this universe, this ecosystem, and then you can decide whether it is for you or not. So in the next few, say an hour or a couple of hours, what I'm going to teach you is, or talk to you about, is understand what is involved in writing a book, whether it's a business book or a personal story. Learn how to structure that so that your narrative flows. Understand what makes a book unputdownable, like why, how you can read some books from cover to cover and not stop. And there are some books you read, 10, 20 pages and then it's too boring. So why is that? How do you complete that first draft? That's the place where most people get stuck, that first draft. We start manuscripts and they sit on our folders on a computer or printed out in our drawers, and we just never seem to get over that hurdle. So how do you complete the first draft? What about editing? How do you edit? Do you need to edit? At what stage do you get a professional editor? Can you self-edit? I'm going to talk to you all about that. Then what are the publishing options available to you? In today's day and age, there are many options. There's the traditional, there's the self-publishing, there's the hybrid, there are vanity publishers, there are assisted publishers. There's a whole dearth of things people will tell you, and it's so confusing if you don't know what you're doing. Once you've published it, then how do you sell it? Does the publisher take care of it? Do you have to do something? Do you have to do all the marketing yourself? Who helps you with this? How many books can you sell? And then, of course, how do you climb that bestseller list? Now, when I take you through it, I'll tell you my version of a bestseller and what the market knows as a bestseller. And can you really make it? Can you reach the bestseller? So, like I said, the question is, should you write and publish a book now? And again, caveat, it's not going to be easy. But I'm there to take you through it and make it as easy as I possibly can for you. So let's look at the downsides first. Writing a book does take time, no matter how many people tell you that it can be done in a weekend, it can be written and published in 7 days or whatever. The book does take time unless you're a really good writer who doesn't need to think, who doesn't need to put things together and look at it and judge and edit. I don't know how you'd put out a book in 7 days and make it worthwhile for someone to read. It does take effort. It can be a bit expensive. It can be completely free if you know all the process and are willing to learn and do it yourself. You don't need to spend a cent. And I'll show you how. But if you need help with things like editing, with things like book cover design, with formatting, with marketing, then yes, you need to spend a few dollars. There are many moving parts, like I keep repeating. Which one comes before which? What do you follow? Which way do you go? You need to find a good support system. Who is the support system? The support system is your family who allow you to write. Because remember, writing is, for someone like me, yes, it's a full-time job. But for most people, they are moonlighting, or they're doing it in their spare time. They do a 9-to-5 job, come and look after the home, the kids, and then maybe, wake up at 4 a.m. and write for a couple of hours, or stay late until everyone's gone to bed, and then they find time to write. So it's hard. And in that kind of scenario, if you don't have people supporting you, it can be very hard. Support system also means the people around you professionally. So your editor, your proofreader, your cover designer, your, whoever you're holding, you are surrounded with to help you get that book out into the world. You need to find good people. And then, like I said, it's the same thing. Find someone reliable to help you through these many variables. So these are the downsides. Now let's look at the upsides. Every job is hard, right? No one said anything was going to be easy. But writing a book is especially wonderful. It's like an amazing achievement. You become known in your industry. As soon as you write a book, it's there forever. A book once published, which has the ISBN, which is the code, the number, and cataloged in the library of that country, lives on forever. We will be gone, but your book will live on. Your words will live on. So you become known in that industry. Your book establishes your authority. Your book boosts your business and credibility. You can get incredible media exposure. As a journalist, I know, and I can, tell you that if you do a media release with of your book and it's published, or you do talk shows on radio, or get a television interview, your book sales are going to go through the roof. Book sales get you a lot of speaking opportunities. This is particularly great for entrepreneurs. A book is your authority. You get to leave a legacy. Like I said, once written, your words are there. You're teaching people, you're impacting people with your words, and you can earn passive income for the rest of your life. Books are one of the few things which get you that passive income throughout. You just have to do the work once and you earn over and over and over again. So, are you up for the challenge? Let's get into it. Let's dive really deep. So, what is it really like to write a book? Where do you start? Of course, with an idea. You've got to have an idea, right? And ideas are a dime a dozen till you can make them work. So, if you would like to do a quick exercise as I run you through this, if you can take a pen and paper and jot down 1 or 2 sentences about what you think your book is going to be about. And if you don't know, try and think of something you'd like to write about and just write a couple. It could be a book of poems. It could be a memoir. It could be a bunch of short stories. It could be a business book about your business. Anything, just write a couple of sentences. This book is about my journey, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Right? So I'll give you a couple of minutes. Now, this is one of the most common questions that I always get. Will my book be interesting to read? Will I be able to sell my book? And it's $1 million question, right? So we need to find out before we start writing, will our book really work? Is there a market for it? So what I suggest is easiest to do is go and look up Amazon. It's your greatest book distributor out there. And go and type in the keywords or type in any a book title or kind of a phrase that you're looking for that you want to write about. Maybe it's I don't know, the journey of an innkeeper, or it's about mountaineering, or it's about losing weight, or anything. Just type in and see what books come up on Amazon. Then go and see what are the bestsellers on that list. On Amazon, there's a look inside feature. Go into that look inside feature and have a look on there. It will show you the contents. It will show you the preface and a few pages even from the book. And have a look at their writing style. Look at the reviews. Are they getting good reviews? Why do they have, look at this thing on the screen that I can see. Look at my cursor, the happiest man on earth. And it's got 8,851 books. And obviously, you would have heard of this book, Eddie Jaku. Why has it? Read the reviews. Obviously, people like it for a reason. So do a bit of research. Here's another one. If you go to this link, publishersweekly.com, you will see what kind of books are trending. It may be that the topic you've chosen might need a little bit of an adjustment to fit in. If you want to do that. You could also write something really out of the way and see it might hit the market and people might love it. But a little bit of research is always good to know whether your book will do well. Romance, crime thrillers, these books always do well. But what kind of memoirs are going to do well? What kind of business books are people looking for? Once Atomic Habits was published, I think another dozen books came out, all on habits. Or when Robin Sharma published his The 5 a.m. Club, there were so many people who spawned off that. So yeah, do a bit of research and you'll know whether your topic is trending. Okay, so now that you've got a topic, let's come to the real work. So let's get out your notebooks and get ready to plan how you're going to write it. But even before we do that, let me ask you 3 quick questions. And it is a little bit about getting ahead of yourself, because I want you to imagine that your book has already been published. And I want you to jot down, how do you want your book to serve your readers? What are they going to get out of it? Even if it's a memoir, why are they reading your memoir? If it's a business book, why are they reading it? If it's self-help, what is it doing for them? Remember, every book has to make a shift in the mind of the reader. There's something they will get out of it. Not necessarily something new, but something that is a revelation to them, that is something that they can relate to, maybe something that surprises them pleasantly, or something that makes them think. You will get something out of it. That is the work of a book. So what is it that they're going to get out of reading your book? Now, once you know, write that down. Imagine it's 2 years after your book was published, and we're looking back on the results together. Now think 2 years ahead and write down, what's the book done for you that made that effort worthwhile? What is it really? What bit of it, all the hard work, all the hours that you put in, the blood, sweat, and tears, what was the one thing after publication that made it all worthwhile? Maybe your kids loved it. Maybe you got an accolade at work. I don't know what it is. Imagine what it can be. What would make you feel really good, and write that down. Now, what is the single event that will happen because of the book that will cause you to break out the champagne and celebrate? What do you want? Do you want to get a speaking gig? Someone great? Do you want to co-author? Maybe someone famous approaches you to co-author a book. Maybe you land a huge publishing deal with one of the big 4, like the Penguin and the Hatchets of this world. Maybe you sell millions of copies and get huge royalties. I don't know what it is. But think about it and write down, what is that single event where you can break out the champagne. Okay. Now we'll get a little bit deeper into your book. For your book, think of your perfect reader, your reader avatar. Who is that person? Why will they be picking out your book? Imagine that someone's browsing in an airport bookstore, and they're whiling away time. Why would they pick out your book? Is it because of the cover? Is it because of the back blurb? Does it look attractive on the shelf? Is it an odd size? People often pick out books which are, sized a bit oddly. And that's a very deliberate thing publishers and authors do. Is it because they flip through the contents and the words really jump out at them and they resonate with it? So who is that reader? If you've written a book on diet or fitness or exercise, is it someone who's trying to get slim or live healthy? If you've written something, on automobiles, is it a car fanatic who picks up your books? Think about that person. Think about what your cover will look like. Think about what that book will give them, because you're here to serve your readers. Is there a pain that they're experiencing because they've not read your book? Is there something that you have to share in your book which will be an amazing revelation to them, which will be something that they will get hooked into? Is your story amazing? Maybe it's a personal story, and the story is so amazing that it's not only helping these people deal with their own lives, but they're just sucked into your story because they can see themselves as you. So what is that? And having read that book, what is the transformation your book will bring in their lives? Because they implemented the learnings from your book. And fiction can do this just as well as nonfiction. So think about it. What is it in your book that will really, really help them, that will move things, shift things for them? And then finally, write the sentence down as a positioning kind of statement. I will use my book to target my primary audience, whoever it is, whether it's teachers, parents, women in their 50s, whatever it is, by teaching them the subject matter of your book. That's a book idea, which will lead to my ultimate goal of more. What? If it's a business book, what are the objectives you want them to achieve? If the sentence is more for a business book, but it could also work for a memoir or maybe for a poetry anthology or whatever it is. What do you want them to do? Bring them peace of mind, encourage them to do something, influence them, impact them. What is it? And be as specific as you can. Now, we're slowly getting into the writing part. This is where you will get clarity on your book. What are the things you will talk about? How will you move your reader from point A to point B with your story? So, as the chapters flow, how do you get them to go from one chapter to another to another? The ideas have to flow logically. So what I normally do is the first thing I'll start with a blank page and start mind mapping. Jot down your ideas randomly, at first randomly, and then we'll come to the structuring. So first jot down randomly all the ideas that come into your head. This can take a couple of days, it can take up to a week, maybe 2 weeks for your ideas to formulate. And as you keep collecting all these ideas, your mind will automatically start kind of sort of segregating and logically putting these chapters together. What works here, what works there. You'll see it. Your mind's an amazing thing. It will happen. Once you do that, you will see that there is a kind of structure forming. So one chapter leads logically into the next till you come to your point. Now, it's not within the scope of this short session to show you exactly how to do that, but that is something that I show you in the in the 21-day challenge that we have coming up after this, where I show you how to finish the first draft of your book. So you work with me for 21 days and we finished the first draft of your book. This is mainly for business books, which are short, sharp reads. So I will take you through exactly how we break down, we mind map, then we break down, then we put it into the chapter structures. But generally, when you're writing a book, this is how you follow. These are the 4 steps you follow. Always start with a hook, an engaging story that the reader can become interested in. So you capture their attention with an interesting story as you hook them in. Then you set the scene and talk about what's coming next. Then step 3 is go back in history and talk about how we changed and adapted and all that sort of thing. I've not finished the sentence, my apologies, but you get the trend. You start with a hook and then you dig deeper and you take the person with you on the journey. And every chapter is somewhat similar. It's not obviously exactly the same. And then you start talking about the main points of that book or that story or the chapter. In the writing process, I always say have a journal or a Word document or whatever it is where you can keep extra bits of notes. As we work, there are a lot of thoughts that come into us. Not everything may go in the book, or it may go, later on you can rethink and bring it back. But if you have a dedicated space for putting these things together, then they're always, you don't lose them. The worst thing is to have a brilliant idea and then just can't recall what it is. It's happened to me a dozen times. So even if I'm driving or something and an idea strikes me, if I can, I will actually pull over and dictate notes into my phone. If it's something I feel really, really strongly about. But yeah, carry something, carry a notebook, carry anything, but don't. I call it the parking lot where I just keep all these extra thoughts. Now, when it's a nonfiction book, research is often an integral part of what we're doing. And we quite often get bogged down in research. So, I'm a sucker for that. Like I would spend hours browsing the internet and getting very little work done because I'm researching. So limit your research, set out some pertinent questions first, what you need to, and research only on those. Once you get the answers, stop from keeping on browsing the net, just because you feel like, or it's going to be a waste of time and you'll never finish. So it's up to you. It's a little bit of discipline, but it'll work. And when you're writing, I always suggest switch off the internet. Don't keep it on. Don't switch your phone off. And if it's 2 hours you're going to write, then just do those 2 hours. Okay, this is break time when I'm doing a live session. So I'll just continue. You can pause and take a break if you like. Okay. So now, once you've finished the first draft, what's next? Again, I have not taken you through the deep structure of writing the book that we do in the 21-day course or challenge or whatever you like to call it that comes after this session. But imagine that you finished the first draft. What happens next? The next thing that you have to do is you have to move away from it. Once you've done your first draft, close that file, go away on holiday, do whatever you have to do, but don't look at it. And the reason for that is you have to give yourself some distance. So if you've moved away for it, say for a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, when you come back, look at it like you're looking at it for the first time. And if possible, read it in one sitting, with some highlighters and post-it notes next to you so that you can mark out mistakes, omissions, things that are extra information that you don't need, anything you have to delete or add, because this is where you'll notice the gaps, and there will be glaring gaps. Because your first draft is in a way, your best draft and your worst draft. It's the best because it's your raw emotions coming out on the page, your thoughts coming out on the page, which are unedited. And the edits will polish it and make it better. It's also the worst draft because, I tell you, don't worry about grammar, punctuation, sentence structure. We can polish all of that. But the originality comes out in the first draft. After that, so once you come back to it, you will find the gaps in your manuscript, and you go in and correct those. That becomes your second draft. Once you've done that, again, give it a gap of a couple of days, read it through and see if it requires further editing. Look at the grammar, the syntax. Have you used too many adverbs, adjectives? Cut those out. If there's superfluous paragraphs which keep saying the same thing, cut them out. Just cut mercilessly. Editing is making it really tight and punchy. Your reader is an intelligent human being. You don't need to keep reasserting yourself over and over again. They will get it. Should you get a manuscript assessment? Entirely up to you. You can if you want to. However, if at some stage you've already got a professional editor or if you've been working with a book coach like me or someone else, then you probably don't need it because they will have been guiding you through the whole process. However, if you've written it entirely on your own, you have no clue whether it works or not, then manuscript assessment might be a good idea. Where do you find editors? So you will find editors in every country. You will have an authors society and an editors society in whichever state or country that you live in. You can just Google it and you can find them. You will find them on social media, on editors' pages, authors' pages, writing forums. You do need to get someone good. You can get them off freelancer sites like Upwork or Fiverr, but I don't know whether they're good or bad. They could be really good. They might be ordinary. So you will have to do a little bit of homework and your due diligence before you hire someone. If you do hire someone, ask them to give you a sample edit of 500 words or so, just to see whether you're both on the same page. I will go into developmental editing, copy editing, and proofreading. So there are 3 kinds of editing. One is the developmental editing, which is looking at the overall picture, so like a 30,000 feet view. I'm a developmental editor, so when I get a manuscript, I will look at it to see if it works as a book. I won't look at the nitty-gritty or the grammar at that stage. I will look at the book as a whole. A copy editor will go more in depth and look at your sentence structure, whether the things flow, whether the stories flow, whether there are any gaps. And a proofreader is the last stage where they dot the I's, cross the T's, look at your punctuation, grammar, all of that. What is the cost? There are varying costs around the world. So some people charge 0.01 cents per word. There are people who charge 0.5 cents per word. So there is a market difference. You just have to find out what works best for you and who is a good editor who you can work with. Now, your book is as good as you can make it. So how do you publish? Now, there are several pathways to publishing, especially today. There's, of course, the traditional publishing, the big 4 houses, and there are many, many traditional publishing firms. And this was what we had 20 years ago when I was writing and publishing. This is all we had. There was no self-publishing. We had to go down. We had to approach a traditional publisher. We got rejected 100 times and, before someone would pick us up. But today you can self-publish. You can self-publish on Amazon, you can on Ingram Spark, on Barnes & Noble, all of these avenues. And these are mostly print on demand, so you don't have to hold stock. So you upload the book on a portal or a platform, and then your reader goes and buys it from the platform. So Amazon ships it to them. And it could cost whatever, $10, $5, whatever price you want to put on it. And if it's a Kindle, then they just get it on their device, whether it's their phone, their Kindle e-readers, their on their computer, iPad, whatever. There are vanity publishers who are a different breed. So these publishers, they take money up front and they promise to do a whole heap of stuff for you. Now, I have had some bad experiences with them. I've had 7 or 8 clients come to me in the last 2 years who've had unpleasant experiences. They've paid a lot of money, like thousands of dollars, but the vanity publishing companies haven't kept their word. And these people have then had to find people like me who have then helped them to get published. So if you end up with a vanity publishing company, then make sure to do your due diligence and find out what's in the contract. They usually take tens of thousands of dollars and they ask you to buy 30, 40, whatever, 300 copies of their book. Now you have to decide what you're going to do. Are you going to be able to sell those copies? Because otherwise, you're just going to end up with them in your garage. So I would rather go self-publishing at any time. So you don't have to hold stock, and you have full control of the marketing, of the cover design, of everything in self-publishing. In traditional publishing, the publishing house takes care of everything for you. You get a contract. You might even get an advance. The problem with traditional publishing is that you have to go through a literary agent in most cases, not in all, but in most cases. Literary agents are hard to find, and literary agents will only work with specific genres. So you have to find your genre. So if you're writing a memoir, you can't go to a crime thriller literary agent and say, can you help me get my book to a publisher? They won't. So traditional publishing also takes a lot of time. They're the big houses will rarely take on new authors. They want you these days to do most of the marketing yourself. So what happens is they are looking for someone with a large following, because in the end, they have to sell the books, right? So traditional publishing is great. If you've got a really well-written book, I would say absolutely go for it. If not, or if you're not willing to wait that long, then self-publishing is the way to do it. The other is assisted publishing, which is what we do, where we help you at every step of the way. So whether it's coaching and consulting about your manuscript or the book you're going to write, whether it's the editing stage, the book cover design stage, the formatting stage, the publishing stage, or the marketing stage, we're there. I call myself an author concierge, and I have a small team who we stand behind you and we help you do it. That's our job. We assist you. We do not take a part of your royalties. And that is something Vanity Publishers often do, that they will take for a lifetime. So even if you gave away like 10 cents per book over a lifetime, imagine what happens. We don't. We do not take a cent of your royalties. All your royalties belong to you. The book is in your name. Unless it's a compilation we're doing with many authors, and then in our contract, we clearly state that this book is being published by us. You're a contributing author, and therefore, you may get 20 copies of the book, but you do not get rights. We are very upfront about that. But if it's your book we're helping out with, we do not take any royalties. And we help you out at every step of the way. You can come to us at the beginning, the middle, or the end, and just help you out. So I just told you what is different about us. We do not take royalties, and that's a big difference in the publishing world. Very rarely will you find this, that someone, because that's the way businesses make money. If I have 100 people even, giving me, I'm taking 10 cents off their, for every book sold, and they're selling millions of copies, that easily adds up. So we are, like I said, we are your author concierge. We help coach you as you write your book. We guide you with the storytelling and hold your hand as you write the chapters, whether it's a 21-day challenge or whether you're part of my bigger book course, which runs for 12 weeks, where it's very in-depth. We edit and proofread your manuscript for you. We offer valuable suggestions. We design stunning book covers for you. And you can go to my website, just Google shomamitra.com, and you go there and you'll see all the latest books published. We guide you whichever way you want to go, whether you want to pitch to a traditional publisher and we help you down that pathway, helping you write the synopsis, finding literary agents, all of that work, or you want to self-publish and we help you format, upload on Amazon or Ingram Spark or whatever it is, and do the whole thing for you. We help you, like I said, publish on Amazon or Ingram. We create marketing strategies and help you actively sell your books. So if you really want marketing help, we will help you with that. We will either create a strategy and give it to you, or if you want us to action that strategy, we will help you do that as well. Again, I just like to stress this because this is something that we are proud of, and we do not take any cent of your royalty payments. And that's about it. So what's next? What's next is come Monday, which will be, I think, the 12th of August, 12th of September, we will start our 21-day coaching program where I will be with you 1 hour every day, 5 days a week, not the weekends. I need some time to myself too. 1 hour a week, probably from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. US EST timing, so wherever in the world you are. And through those 21 days, we will use a very, very structured process, which I have kind of, over the years, just not created it, refined it. Now it works like a dream. We go through this structured, I won't even call it a template. It's a document that I have created specifically for business books. And I will help you through that. And you will find that at the end of the 21 days, you have your first rough draft. I stress it's going to be a rough draft, but you will have your first rough draft. What happens after the 21 days, should you wish to continue with me to publish that book, we will then refine the second draft. So we will do the edits. It might require a third draft. It may not. It depends on how you write and your style of writing, and how good or we're there to help you polish it. But honestly, it depends. Some people can do it like that. Some people take a little bit more time, and that's okay. I'm one of those that take time. We will edit it. We will do the book cover for you. We will format it for you. We will help you publish, and if necessary, we will help you market. So it's entirely up to you. You could walk away after the 21 days and say, I don't need this. I'll do it all on my own. Or you could say, I'll start working with you. People have gone on from the 21 days to work on the 12-week project because they wanted to dig down much deeper. But again, like I said, it's entirely up to you. I believe in the 21 days working with me every day. Just 1 hour a day, but then you have to put in time to write later on. It is a little bit of hard work. I didn't lie when I said it's not going to be easy. But if you're committed, I'm committed. And I would love to see some books out, because October, November is pre-Christmas release time. Lots of books are going to sell. It's a perfect Christmas gift. It's a perfect time to market and get your book out. So if you're interested, after this video in the emails, you will see links to register for my 21-day challenge. That is a paid course, and I will see you inside. So thank you and for being with me, and I will see you wherever I see you. I wish you all the best, and I hope you get your books published. Thank you.